All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I say that each and every time, but today I really mean welcome, 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 because I got a great guest that's going to be on here with me today here on 106.7 FM, the voice of the community. I had to reach out, way out over a couple of states and knock on the door and say, hey, Miss Sarita, can you come out and play, but more so educate the people in the community? Good afternoon, Sarita Hill. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I am doing well. Now you're in Arizona, Phoenix area. Maybe I
Yes.
should have said, "How are you?" I should have said, "Sarita, cómo está, señorita?"
Nope, you said it right the first time.
No, no. Oh, okay.
No,
Tu
it's funny.
hablas no español?
No,
Ah, okay. Well, all right.
no,
You speak a
no, no,
language, I
no.
speak then. Okay, here we
Yeah.
go. So, Sarita, thank you for taking carving some time out of your busy schedule to sit with me so we can chat with the people in the community. And Sarita Hill is over there in Arizona. She's a realtor, and she
Yeah.
focuses on the greatest resource that actually exists in America: home ownership. So, Sarita,
hmm
we want to break it down and talk to the people and let them know, if you can, in 3 to 5 steps, how would you define the steps to home ownership?
Well, some of the first steps that they're going to need to take if they're looking to purchase a home is one, we need to qualify you to see how much home you can afford. A lot of people will start looking prior to finding out what they qualify for. So the first step is, getting with a lender and getting qualified for your home. The next step is finding a realtor, someone like me, or me.
That's right. That's right.
Me to help you in the process of finding your home. We will then begin a search, in the areas that you will want to live in, to find a home that suits your needs and also fits within your budget. Then we would go under contract on a home. And right now, with the market being so busy, it's really important to have a good real estate agent on your team in order to get you under contract on a home. And once you go through that process, and the home is ready to close, and then we get your financing done, we finish everything that goes in the process of purchasing a home, we then just move to the step of getting you your keys to your new house.
Okay. Well,
So I would say one of the first things that anyone would need to do is to get qualified for a house.
okay. Well, Mr. Reader, you definitely rattled that off and made it sound extremely simple. But for
Yeah,
brand new homeowners, we're going to break it down step by step. And
there's a
because you have,
lot of ins and outs.
yeah, because you have so much experience at this, you come from the property management side. So the first thing you mentioned was about
Mhm.
qualification. What does that actually exist when you talk about qualification? Because some people in the community, we believe that we've been renting for a period of time, that we can
Mhm.
just select a home and the realtor or the realtors will take care of everything else. But you said qualified. Let's break that down a little bit.
Qualify, I mean, going to unless they're cash buyers. There are some cash buyers out
No,
there that
we not in my community. We're not talking about cash buyers.
you never know. But
We
I
want to
have to
leverage. We want
mention
to
that.
leverage what we have. So we're talking
Yes.
about. We want to use that low interest money right now.
Yeah. So we have to go to a lender, and a lender going to use, and I'm not a lender, so I try to stay in my lane as a realtor. But I will say that there will be documentation you will need to qualify, which will be your income being the first thing, and then your credit. They're going to pull a credit report history on you, and so they'll work with you with your credit, your income, try to see to determine your budget, and so those things you will give to a lender. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
will have an experience in mortgage, that you have to go with that lender. That lender is going to look at all your information to see if you qualify.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, that's fair
mhm.
enough to say. And so
Yeah,
we'll bypass that as far as the aspects of the qualification, because you're right. Uh,
yeah.
and that's a sign of intellect when a person understands their capacity and they say, "Hey, I'm going to focus on where my expertise is, and
Yes,
however I can branch that out to where the individual needs to actually go and get that taken care of." And that's me. But we'll talk
yes,
about that at a later date.
yes. Because
But
there are a lot of things. I'm familiar with mortgage, but I try to stay in my lane and not go past that and say, hey, yes, you need to get qualified, but they will need your income. They're going to look at pay stubs, bank statements, credit profile, and that's how they're going to make that determination. But a
okay.
lender will definitely make that determination.
Okay, okay. Hey, I'm talking to Sarita Hill here, and she's holding back, but she's well versed in all aspects of real estate. As I mentioned earlier, she's a realtor now, but she is also a previous property manager, and she also has experience in closing. What closing is when they come to the origination of a loan, she's the person that verified everything, made sure everything was in its proper place, proper order, as a
Yeah.
spiritual law, decent and in order for the people to get those keys at the final stage. So she's holding back,
Yeah.
but she has so much experience. This is why you want us. This is why you want to do business with someone like Sarita Hill. We're gonna go to number
Yeah.
two: selecting a good realtor. Now, what is the responsibility of a realtor?
Our responsibility is to take, basically, in a nutshell, take care of our clients. If I'm representing a buyer, my responsibility is to represent that buyer's best financial interest. Meaning I'm going to walk you through the process, help you understand the contract, help you understand all of your rights within that contract, and walk you through getting things like your home inspection, making sure you understand the appraisal, making sure you do your due diligence. I give all of my clients what we call a buyer's advisory, which will pretty much give them the process steps to the home purchase and to the due diligence period, so that they know what they're supposed to do when they're under contract.
Okay, you said
That makes
buyer's
sense?
responsibility.
Yes, the buyer's responsibility to, well, there's some buyer's responsibility, there's some realtor responsibilities. My responsibility is to help you understand what you're getting into, your financial purchase, make sure you understand the contract, make sure you understand your rights within that contract. My job is to protect your interest. So
Okay.
I am going to help you understand what your responsibility is, because buyers do have some responsibility to do research on the areas that they want to live in, to understand what type of home they're looking for. So they need to tell me, I want a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-story, single story. And my job is to help you find that home. But then I also, it is also your responsibility to do things like inspections, because I'm not an inspector. So your inspector is going to look at, walk the roof, look at what's in the attic. They're going to check the AC. They're going to check the plumbing, things like that. So I walk you through that process, and I give you resources in order to get those steps completed. But I'm not the inspector, so I'm not going to walk the roof.
Okay. Okay.
You don't want me on the roof.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But
That's
I
what we
will
need.
walk you through and, help you understand what your inspector should be looking for and help you read that inspection.
Okay, we appreciate that because home buying or home ownership, it can be overwhelming to a brand new home
Yes.
buyer because we've never done it before. We've rented, we may be a master at renting, but now we're talking about overcoming something that has plagued our communities for so many years, from social diversity, economic diversity, racial diversity, and the number one key factor in that is home ownership. So you play a vital position in that, in increasing wealth, increasing generational wealth, because
Yes.
the race, not the racial, but the economic divide is usually based on home ownership. So
Mm-hmm.
until we understand that basic concept, then exercise it and employ someone like yourself, your services, we may be ready to buy, have the ability to buy, but we're so afraid and overwhelmed, we
Mm-hmm.
continue in that process of renting, and we owe it to the next generation to start the home ownership process so we can build and pass on the wealth to the next generation. Now,
Okay.
as a realtor, um, I'm not a realtor, but what does it take to become a realtor?
Well, we do have to go to school. So you do have to go through a education and licensing process. So there are a couple different schools out here in Arizona. Every state has, I won't say every state because I'm not living in every state, but every state has a school that they could probably, sign up to go through and take classes. And then once you finish your classes, you go through a licensing process by taking a state and national test. And once you pass that test, you can apply to get your real estate license.
Okay, okay. So far we're at qualification. That's usually done at the beginning stages for them to get
Mm-hmm.
qualified with an originator, a mortgage
Yes.
company, to your position, a realtor who protects the buyer. You sit down with the buyer, hold their hand through each and every process so it's not overwhelming, so they are not afraid. You follow up with them through phone, text. What about fax? You know, I'm old school. Fax.
No, we
don't. What? You don't do the, okay, well, no fax.
I can electronically fax you.
Okay. Yeah.
It's still gonna show up on your computer, so you're gonna have to get one.
Okay, yeah. I have to step my game up a little bit, but I'm trying. So you will actually hold our hand.
Yeah, so but we do. I really think it's important that buyers are educated through this process, and I make it a point to walk my clients through every single step and make sure they understand before you sign a contract. One, you should be reading it. In Arizona, it's probably about 10 pages of things that you are initialing and signing. So you should definitely be reading and signing the contract.
Well, and can't you just read it and just tell me what it says?
I cannot enter. No, you should read it. I can discuss it with you. I can help you understand it. But I recommend that you read the contract prior to. And that's why it's important to, I try to help my buyers. I'll give them a copy of the contract before they even sign it to say, hey, read this over and see if there's any questions you have, so that we can discuss them prior to. Because nowadays, a lot of contracts are signed electronically. And so I offer my services by being in person with you to go over your contract, over the phone, over Zoom, any way that's going to help you. So I make sure you understand before you sign.
Okay. Well, I feel better. I feel at ease right now. And I'm not even trying to purchase a home.
Yeah.
Well, thank you there. Okay. So we've talked about qualification with the originator. We talked about your position, the realtor. Now, what about, I've heard this when it comes down to the aspect, once I'm dealing with you face to face, I get comfortable with you. Now, a process called the appraisal aspect of it. Yes. Do I need to find that appraiser, or do you find the appraiser? Who takes care of that?
The lender, actually. So you will pay your appraisal fee through your lender. And now, from my understanding of it, is once they hire the appraiser, even the lender doesn't get to select it. They put it into a system, and the appraiser picks up that appraisal request, and they go out and do the appraisal.
Yeah,
and then
you're
it
right
comes
about
back
that.
Through your lender. And actually, I don't think many people know this. The appraisal is sent to the lender and sent to the buyer. As a realtor, we actually don't get a copy of the appraisal unless we request it from the buyer.
Okay. All right. So once that's taken care of, what about the home inspection? Is that before the appraisal or after?
That is done before the appraisal or alongside of the appraisal. Like they all happen at the same time.
Because and the home inspection is for whose benefit?
The buyers.
Okay.
The inspection is for the buyer's benefit, because your inspection, and I'm speaking based off Arizona, it could be different in other states. So let me say that it can be different in other states. The inspection is for the buyer. The buyer will hire the inspector. And as a realtor, I give my clients 3 options. I usually give them 3 people that they can call, because you want to check pricing, you want to check availability, and you want to find out all of their services. So once you hire your preferred inspector, they'll go out to the house and they'll do an inspection from, I like to say, from top to bottom, because they're going to look at the roof. They're going to check to see if there are any foundational issues. They're going to check if the appliances work. They're going to check to make sure your electrical outlets work. It's a very detailed inspection. And once you receive a copy of that, we'll go through that inspection together to see if there's anything that you disapprove of. And if you disapprove of something, we'll discuss that and see, hey, is that something you can handle on your own, or is that something we want to further negotiate with the seller?
Okay.
That's a general overall.
Yes, right. Now, since what, maybe 4 or 5 years? No, since what, a couple of years ago, since COVID, homes have the price points have increased, maybe 10 to 20, if not, depending on the area, over the traditional asking price. And so, are you the person that negotiates that down to where it fits my budget, or how do we manage that into that contract?
Well, in this market, it's pretty tricky. So if you have a budget, I usually recommend, I tell my clients all the time, just because you're approved for $1 million doesn't mean we need to spend $1 million. You want to stay within a payment you can afford. So if you have been approved for a certain amount, and with the way the market is going right now, most homes are selling over asking price. So we try to find something within what you were approved for, maybe sometimes a little less to give you room to go up. But I also suggest that you have money that you can put into the deal in case we have to go over asking price.
Okay. Is that the norm now, going over the asking price?
I don't want to say it's the norm, but it definitely happens a lot.
Okay.
It happens
Okay.
a lot. I don't want to say that it's the norm, but it does happen a lot. But can you get into a home within your budget? Yes.
Okay. All right. So home ownership is what we're basing everything on. And another aspect of home ownership is the savings and investing long term, as we mentioned earlier about building wealth.
Mm-hmm.
In your professional opinion, purchasing a home, is that one of the greatest wealth builders for your clientele?
Yes, I
Mm,
do. I do
okay.
believe that it is. Only because I am not against renting. So I'm not going to say that's a bad thing because there are investment properties, there's rentals for reasons. But when you own your home, you can build equity, which you can then use later. If you sell your home, now you've made money on that home and you can invest into something else. Or you can refinance, take some of that equity out of your home and use it to purchase other investment properties or additional properties for your family. So it's definitely one of the top wealth builders amongst my clients.
So with this thing you're talking about equity, that sounds like I become the bank
Yeah.
myself. So if I want to, yeah, so I can just go ahead and pull down on that home, leverage my current option, and take cash to if I want to purchase a car, vacation, or anything like that, because I have
Yeah.
established a piece of asset. And now
Mm-hmm.
instead of me going to the bank, I am the bank.
Well, you still got to go to the bank to pull that money out, but yes,
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
you have to go to a lender still to pull, to find a way to get that money out of your home. But
that's right.
you
That's
do
right.
have it as, I've had clients that have, purchased their home a few years ago and then they turned around and sold it and, sold it up for 100,000 or more than what they purchased it for. And those are just estimates, roundabout numbers. That doesn't happen all the time. But, they have come up on the upside of things, so to speak.
Okay, okay. Hey, I'm talking to Sarita Hill. She's based out of Arizona. She's a realtor. Sarita, now I know that you're licensed in Arizona, but you're also expanding your reach as we currently speak now,
Mhm.
that you're studying for maybe another state or two. And for long, you're going to be the female Warren Buffett. So how does it feel to actually start off at boots on the ground, and now you're just expanding to some of the best vacation areas ever?
Well, it's exciting. I am currently in the process of studying for my license in Texas. So I'm going to be expanding because I am moving to Dallas. So I'll be expanding out
To,
that
da-
way.
to Dallas?
Dallas, Texas. I am moving to Dallas.
Oh, only rich people move to Dallas now.
Well, I'm going to hopefully find some of them. So no, but no, I am excited to be expanding out, into a different area that I will have to become familiar with. But I love new things. So this is going to be quite the adventure for me.
Well, congratulations. You deserve it. I've heard so many great things about you, especially
Thanks.
coming from a real estate background. And family, I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you the truth here. She's been all around when it comes to real estate from the beginning to the end. So this is the guru when it comes to home ownership. And I just love the word home ownership. Put those two. I love owning things. I love being in a home. You put them together, it puts a bright smile on my face. And especially
Yeah.
to be able to work with a person like yourself and to build
Thank
wealth,
you.
man, that is amazing. So we've talked
I
about
am humbled.
qualification, realtor. We've talked about inspections. The final stage is getting the key at closing. What is this
Yes.
thing that's called closing?
Closing is basically the final steps to the home purchase process. And I'm leaving out probably a big chunk of it when we talk about title and escrow, but that's a whole nother beast. So we can get into that later. But closing is basically when you sign your paperwork for your home, your loan documents, title documents, and you are signing to take over ownership of that property. And so once that paperwork is signed, it goes through a process, goes back to your lender to go through the funding process, which is part of the closing process. And again, I'll let a lender come like yourself come and explain all the details of that. But then the home, once everything's funded, all the money is wired over to the title company, everything is released to the seller that's owed to the seller. It'll go to the court or the county for what they call recording. And once it's recorded to your name, then you officially own that property. And once that happens, then you can officially obtain the keys to your new home.
Wow, you just
make it simple.
Yes, and I love it, I truly do. So we're talking to Sarita Hill. Sarita, how can the people get in contact with you? You have an email, I know you have a telephone. Only thing you don't have is a fax. So give us your contact information.
No, they can definitely call me at 480-251-7613, or they can email me at saritahillre@gmail.com.
Okay, because she's licensed in Arizona, working on another state right now to get licensed in. So she's still doing business in Arizona, and the future is going to start doing business in Texas. And before long, she'll be right here in Louisiana. Get some of that good food.
Yes, and I am also looking to work with other agents too, or if anyone is looking to become licensed in whichever state they live in, I'm definitely looking for agents to work with and help understand this process and go through to become, successful real estate agents in their respective areas. So.
Okay, occupational opportunities. I like that as well. That's what I'm talking about. The female Warren Buffett right here today. I am loving it. So did I leave anything out? We're going to give you the last few words, the last takeaways before we close out.
Yeah. No, I get, it was a great conversation. I appreciate you having me on. And like I said, we gave very general situations as far as purchasing a home, general steps, because it is a lot that goes into it. And every situation can be different from each person. So I would just say, if you're interested in purchasing a home, or if you're interested in becoming a realtor, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss the opportunity and help you get through that process in whatever state you're in. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am. And we'll talk to you on the next rip. And we're going to talk about the different types of home purchasing, as far as conventional, VA, government, even though it's on the financing side. But we hear this language all the time in the community. So we want to be able to go to our realtor who can help us distinguish what the people are saying. So until next time.
Yes, next time we'll have to talk more about it. And you get into detail, but just for this first time overall, it's a lot when it goes into purchasing a home, and I hate to overwhelm people without being able to sit down and talk to them.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.